Hey guys, how you going? Alright, moving on to the next fact. Alright, next fact. They can use mirrors as a type of gate or portal. This is something I've realised and figured out, that basically mirrors that you have at your house or your unit, apartment, or the dwelling which you stay at or where you reside, they can actually use the mirrors from the place you stay as doorways, gates, portals to actually travel through and basically to and from. I'm going to give you a quick pointer now on how to try and block that and stop that. So all mirrors, any mirrors or mirrored surfaces you have at your house or your dwelling or where you reside, basically approach the mirror and with your finger basically write the words "bless you" on the mirror. This actually stops them from travelling to and from through these doorways, these gates, these portholes that they use, the mirrors. Now, if you're a Christian person, by all means, you can even write in the name of Jesus, or with the power of Christ, or by the word of God, or with the power of the Holy Spirit. Bless you. You can write that if you wish. That will work. People, more spiritual people of today, if they want to write by, the loving guidance and power of Source, bless you, that will work too. The key to actually blocking these doorways or gates is having belief, either in a God or a religion that you choose, or belief within yourself that you can actually do it. That is fundamental and a very strong key point. Once you realise and know the power you have within, you can use that as a means to defend or protect yourself or your residence, your dwelling, your house where you reside. So yes, simply by writing the words "bless you" on the mirror. You can even write "closed" as well. That's another thing that'll work if you wish to choose to do it that way. Another extra layer of protection you can adopt and use is do a small prayer. Once again, if you're a Christian or a religious person or of any particular faith, you can basically say a small prayer and say, in the name of Jesus, I bless this window and block all negative energies, entities, or malevolent spirits or beings. I do not grant them access through this portal, through this doorway, through this gate. You can do it that way. If you have belief in yourself and know who you are as a person, you can use your birthright, your given power to basically do that as well. You can even say something as simple as by the love of the mother, by the word of the father, with the divine power of the pure loving spirit, I bless this mirror and I block all negative influences, entities or life forms from gaining access through this doorway, gate or portal. Just a simple prayer like that, something like that. Even just the verbally saying it, the words, the intent is very powerful. But you cannot do it out of fear or with aggression. You need to know who you are as a person, or have complete faith in the Creator, your God of choice or your religion of choice, who you choose to worship or anything. That's not for me to decide. That's entirely for you. But it is beneficial and it does work. Okay, so that's a simple practice you can do. I highly advise any mirrors or mirrored surfaces in your place of residence or where your dwelling is. I highly advise you do this as a means to defend and block any open doorways or gates that may be there at your residence. Alright, moving on to the next fact. Next fact. They will try and make false offerings of friendship to deceive you. This is something I've noticed. They have done it to me. Once you start to realise and understand more about them and about what's going on, and you start to become more in tune with your own power and what you're actually capable of, they will make offerings of friendship to you. Now, they'll say through hosted people and that around you that they've actually done this with me via my children and strangers and friends. They've basically said things like, "Oh, we like you now, we want to be friends," and things like that. Now, they'll do this deliberately because from the very beginning of my experience and realizing all of this, I never wanted conflict with them. To be honest, I really never wanted conflict. I was sort of forced into that situation. Pretty much they will prey on that and say, oh, let's be friends and all that. And what that is that's a ploy to make you lower your guard. So you'll think, oh, okay, we'll get along now. There's sort of peace, the white flag, the olive branch has been extended. They are very tricky, very sneaky. They will do this so you will lower your guard and think, okay, things are sweet between us now, but they are very opportunistic. If they see an opportunity or a moment where they can trip you up, slip you up, or cause dramas and problems in your life, they will seize it. They will seize it as quickly as they can. If they make offerings of friendship towards you, it's only to lower your guard, so basically they can try and gain access to your vessel, to your body, or they're doing it for you to lower your defenses, for them to trip you up or slip you up. A general rule of thumb is, in regards to the good guys, they will never say things like that. Basically, oh, we like you now, we want to be your friends. They have always been your friend. They have always loved you and they have always cared about you. They've helped every single one of you at one point in your life. You probably just never realised it was them doing so. They never expected any thank you or gratitude or notoriety they're not ego driven. Everything they do is purely out of kindness and love. The good ones will never say something like that, oh, we like you now or we want to be your friend, because they've never been your enemy. They have always been there for you. That's something just to keep in mind, okay? So if you find them offering friendship and things like that, most likely that's a negative life form that is doing so. The good ones will never say, oh, we like you now, we want to be your friends. They've always been your friend. They've always been your family. They've always cared about you. They wouldn't offer something that they'd gladly give, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, moving on. Next fact. Do not waste your time trying to negotiate or finding a peaceful resolution with them. It will fail. Trust me, I have tried. It appears that their attitude is all or nothing. I've tried many peaceful resolutions with them. I've tried sort of, just finding common ground or somewhere where we can sort of meet in the middle, and it won't happen. It will not happen. If they offer a bargain or a peaceful resolution of some sort to you, it is most likely false. I can pretty much 100% guarantee you that it will be false. Their attitude is all or nothing. It's very unfortunate, but apparently that's just the way it is, okay? So believe me, I've tried people. I've tried peaceful negotiations with them. I've tried meeting like common ground or just meeting them in the middle, but it's failed every time. They do not want that. So whether or not you choose to try is entirely your choice. It's entirely your option to do so, but I can guarantee you it will fail. It will fail. It is very unfortunate, but this is a harsh reality and it will fail. Okay, moving on. All right, next fact. I would like to clear up and give some more clarity in regards to some misconceptions about eating meat. Now, there's a lot of people, and you'll see a lot of things online in regards to eating meat. Now, they'll say, oh, it's bad for you, it lowers your vibration and this and that. This is the truth. Some of the most spiritual and loving people to ever grace this planet that we live on, they were meat eaters. Your Native Americans, they would eat meat. Native Australians, the Aboriginals, all the most spiritual loving people were carnivorous. They would eat meat. This is the catch. When they would eat or consume a living thing from this planet, they would show their gratitude and give a small blessing for that animal's sacrifice to give up its vessel. They honoured, they cared for that animal, and they showed great appreciation for the sacrifice that animal has made. This is the difference between their practices and ours these days. You have a look at abattoirs and things like that these days. We are a chop and change society. We just wheel them in on a conveyor belt, cull, with no blatant disregard for that animal's sacrifice or its spirit. You know, anyone who is listening to me now and watching me knows that I'm speaking the truth in regards to this. This is why meat eating has become so bad these days, is because the animal that has given up its vessel was not respected, was not appreciated or given a second thought. And we then consume that flesh that has negative attachments to it from a disgruntled spirit, an angry animal spirit that has been robbed and not shown a level of decency or consideration, not to be honoured, but to at least be considered and have that thought. This is what opens us up to negative attachments. You'll notice also some of the ancient natives and things like that, they would practice the arts of where, say the Native Americans, where they'd kill a bear. They wouldn't do this small prayer for it or ceremony. They would cut open its chest cavity and then take a bite out of its heart, because they believed that they'd take on the spirit of the bear. Well, yes, that is very true, but they were most likely influenced to do so. So by doing that, they in turn were taking on the angry spirit of that bear, which, believing in their mind and through their traditions and through misconceptions and through being basically tricked by the negative entities, they were taking on negative energies. They were thinking that it'd make them strong in battle and things like that, and yes, it would, because when it would come to battle circumstances, the angry spirit of the bear would take over them, because they would open themselves up to that, and yes, they would become very strong and have the strength of a bear. These are the practices where they went wrong. This is where they went wrong, and they knew better, but they were meddling with things that had dire consequences. So this is just what I've just said to you then, and I'm sure it makes 100% sense to you, and this is just proof. Is in regards to eating meat, it's if you are, and I can't judge or anything like that. I eat meat, but I at least when I sit down and I have a meal and there is meat involved, I will spare a quick moment, and just spare a thought for that animal, and just say thank you for its sacrifice, and little things like that can protect you from taking on negative energies and spirits. And by doing that and exercising your power, you're actually freeing that spirit, you're freeing that energy from that torment, from that hurt, from that pain of feeling like ripped off, so to speak, or mistreated. So little things like that, if you do, I can't judge whether you do or don't eat meat, but if you do, just spare a thought for that animal that sacrificed its vessel, and in doing that, you are freeing that spirit, that energy to basically go back to, God, source, center of creation, back to, the whole cycle of things. So this is just a small practice. Whether or not you choose to take it on is entirely your choice, but I know what I've just said will most likely make a lot of sense to you. This is the big misconception in regards to eating meat that a lot of people don't realise or see or understand. They will just instantly say, eating meat's bad. Like I said, some of the most spiritual people in the world, or who have ever graced this planet, ate meat, but they understood and knew the universal laws, the spiritual realm. If you can understand, respect and appreciate that, then you basically, you're more in tune to the whole cycle of things, the cycle of life, the cycle of existence. So it's just something to keep in mind, people. All right, moving on. Okay, next fact. Always try to use your better judgment and do your homework about this subject, so you'll recognise and see the con artists, the snake oil salesmen, and the misinformation ploys that you'll come across online. Basically, even from me, don't just take what I say to you on board and just form an exact opinion based entirely upon that. And this is just speaking for me, I have no reason to put my face on YouTube and lie to you. I have nothing to gain from this. But don't just take what I say as gospel and basically form an opinion on that. Do your homework. Research, look around, find things that resonate with you that really make sense, You will find online that there is people. Now, I won't say names or anything like that because there is a lot of good people out there that are helping, but if you find yourself following someone who talks in regards to the Archons, okay, they will give you a small amount of information, and then in their videos they'll be like, oh, look, buy my book, or buy my training guide, or buy this, buy that. They are still, to a degree, somewhat trapped. They are caught in the money trap of the Archons. If you are truly free, a truly free spirit, you don't worry about money. I don't. I know what I need at the time will be provided for me. I don't need to sell this information to all of you. And for me personally, it's a moral thing. It's a moral thing because I know what they have done. I know what they are capable of doing. I have been through it, and I can see and I recognise and notice what they have done to many others. To profit from such a thing, to me personally, I couldn't do. My moral fabric, my moral fibre just would not allow for that. So that's something to keep in mind too, is that there will be people that offer you, sort of information and ways out and this and that for a cost. And that to me, I don't judge them, much love to them, but to me that just tells me that they don't truly understand or appreciate or have a very well-grounded understanding of what these entities are capable of, because they're willing to profit off that, to profit off someone else's misery, let alone their own. And they can say, yeah, we live in a world with, we need money, we need this, we need that. If you're a true free spirit, it will be provided. It will be provided. There is good watching over all of you. What you need at the time will be provided. This is why everything I share with you all will come with no price tag. You have my word on that. I've even told the ones that I speak to and communicate with and who basically give me this knowledge, I basically told them from day dot that anything they show me or basically, open my mind to, there will never be a price tag attached to it, and I will honour that. I will honour my word. So these are things you've got to watch out for, basically, and there is people out there that, they do have good information, but the fact that they're willing to sell that, they are still, to a degree, somewhat trapped in the money game. They are not completely free. And me personally, I feel they don't really have the right to be selling you something if they're still trapped. If they were truly free and truly broken free of it, they wouldn't need your money. If anything, I don't want to send from you. Buy a homeless man a sandwich. If you're in a shop and you see a single mum with a child and, she looks like she's struggling, give her a couple of dollars to do groceries, or, just a kind gesture. If you're at a shop and there's someone there and they're wanting to buy something and they don't quite have enough money and you've got a bit of extra change, chip it in, get it for them. I'd rather see you do that with your money than to basically pay my internet or my bills. Everything I do, I pay for and will give to you for free, because I want nothing from you but for you to be happy and, free of this control, this, basically torture. It's psychological torture, really. A lot of people have suffered, and I know in my lifetime I'll never completely see a full change, but just knowing that, I could put down maybe one small pillar or a foundation for that, well, that's more than enough for me. So in regards to your money, take your wife out and buy her a lovely meal, get your kids a toy, ring your mum and tell her you love her. I don't want your money. Spend it wisely. Okay, moving on. Alrighty, next fact, Next fact. Be aware and use caution with the I am sovereign to place yourself above them ego mind trap. you will set yourself up for a big fall. Now, in regards to the I am sovereign, now that can be delivered in two ways. So you can say, yes, I am sovereign, okay, which means I am sovereign, I am me, I am where I'm at, I am a spiritual being that's having this experience. But if you say it in a way where I am sovereign, like you're above them, well, then you have fallen into the ego mind trap. Basically, at the end of the day, I don't agree with the Archons and the things they do, and the fact that they're a negative life form, and I consider myself more of a positive, a positive life form. I do not place myself above or below them. To place yourself above them is an ego mind trap, and they will allow you to go along with that, because then when you fall, it hurts more. It hurts more. The simple fact at the end of the day is we exist, they exist. We are all a part of the same existence. We are all a part of the same existence. To put yourself above another, be it negative or not, that is ego. You need to, let that go. Let that go. Do not place yourself above them or below them. So that's basically what I mean by that. Know yourself, know who you are. Get in tune with your heart, your intellect, your power, what you are capable of doing, what you are truly capable of doing. Yes, do that, practice that, but never fall into the ego mindset or the mind trap of putting yourself above or, even below them. Put yourself below, you'll become the victim mentality. Put yourself above, you'll fall into the ego mind trap, and basically they will run rings around you. They will run rings around you and use it to their advantage. So you are you. You are not above or below, okay? You are you. Be the best you can be, okay? That's pretty much the best way I could word it, but I'm sure you understand what I mean by this fact. Okay, moving on. Alrighty. Alright, next fact. They have entrapped our physical vessels in order to control our spiritual selves. This indeed is very true. Take, for instance, taxes, mortgages, having to earn money to live for food and this and that. These are all physical traps that our physical vessel is trapped in. We, however, are not. Our true spiritual self, our true spiritual being is beyond all that. But while we inhabit or dwell within our vessel, our body, our physical body that we reside in while we're here in this experience, if that is somewhat trapped, well then that's how they have trapped our spirits, our spiritual selves. This isn't hard to see or recognize. You take a good look around and you'll notice beauty magazines and things like that make all young girls, young women not like their bodies and things like that, because this is done deliberately. So they grow up thinking, oh, my breasts aren't big enough, or, I don't have a nice enough bottom, or, my teeth are ugly, my hair is curly, I want it straight. While the youth, even with young men too, they look at the men's health magazines and see the guy with the really buff body and all that, and get down on their body. This is done deliberately, because while you're down on your own body and your physical vessel, basically, if you're down on yourself and you don't like your body, well, there's other things out there that would like access to your body. So just by thinking that way, thinking down and negative about the physical vessel, which this is the game, this is just your vessel. They've got us all convinced that the physical appearance that we all take on in this lifetime is how we look. It's not. It's not. You are beautiful. I am beautiful. We are all beautiful. Our spirits are beautiful. This is just the vessel we inhabit. But they've got us so convinced and focused on it that we're so down and out about it. This is another tool they use to basically gain access to us. So pretty much like I've just said, they've trapped the physical vessel. So in order to get food, which is a requirement for this vessel that we inhabit in this existence, we need to get money to pay for all that. So all these little traps and things they've got set up to trap the physical vessel, it basically, it's entrapped our spiritual selves, where once you become not free of that, so to speak, because I'm still here, I consider myself to a degree free, not 100% free, but I'm a free spirit. But while I reside within this physical vessel, then yes, there is requirements that are needed, okay? But pretty much, yeah, that's what they've done, is that they've set it up where that's all trapped, and it creates the mindset where basically you feel trapped and enclosed and encased. But once you do, to a degree, break free of all that, like I said in my earlier faxes, everything you need will be provided. Everything you need will be provided. Just depends, which side you sit on. Well, anyway, I've just looked at the time, we're at 25 minutes, so I'll wrap this video up here now, and yeah, please follow on to the next video if you wish to learn more and hear more of what I speak about. Oh well, thank you very much for your time, guys, and take care, eh?